Hi, Paul Thompson from Twang Tuition, and a very warm welcome to this week's tutorial. Something a little bit different this week because I've had a lot of requests or people asking me how to begin, what's the best way to begin improvising on guitar. So I'm just going to give a little introduction to how I teach a sort of relatively new player how to begin improvising. We'd normally start after a few months of learning, so all the basic techniques are important to get out of the way first, and also a few little scales, blues scales, which I'm going to be featuring on here. Some of that knowledge would be useful to help you. I'll talk you through the scales as well in the tutorial. But if you've got a bit of knowledge of that would help you. Don't forget as well, if you're new to guitar and you've not tried this before, then check out my online beginner's guitar course, because it does cover this in great detail. Lots of backing tracks and lots of tutorials on there. It's specifically for improvising. So check that out. Website's on here. Tells you exactly what you'll be learning. Like I said, people think of improvising as a bit of a dark art, and it can be, but it's also really accessible even when you're relatively new to guitar. So without further ado, let's get on with a little bit of improvisation. Okay, so firstly, I'm just going to walk you through the scales that I'm going to be using in a couple of different positions. You may or may not know them. It's handy to learn them from memory first of all before you try improvising, because you don't really want to be thinking about the scale if you're being creative. So the kind of the first type of scales that I do tend to teach because they're the easiest to navigate. We're starting with an E blues, an open E blues. The track that we're going to be using is a blues in the key of E. So we're going to be using a E minor blues scale, open position to start with. Okay. Now we can then use it's the octave counterpart up at the 12th fret, fretting all the notes this time. The open position there uses all the open strings, as I've just demonstrated. We can use the same scale on octave higher at the 12th fret. And I'll also throw in the root on the 5th string as well, just to give us a middle position there to be using. Slightly different pattern. Yeah, it's kind of more of a trickier pattern. I do begin using the roots on the 6th string, but if you know that scale, then you're welcome to use that one as well. On the demonstration, I'm just going to be using the roots on the 6th string, but we do have, if you know your scales, we do have blues scales all up the neck that do interlock, a bit like a jigsaw. There are five pentatonic blues positions. I'm just going to be using the roots on the 6th string for today, just because they're the easiest one to navigate. Other thing to remember is that we're in swing time. Okay, most blues is swung, which basically means the quavers, as opposed to being even, are uneven in swing time. The first quaver is a longer quaver, so we need to play in that kind of time. I'll also walk you through the chords. 12-bar blues in the key of E. 4 bars on E7. 2, 3 to A7. 2 bars. 2 bars back on E7. B7. 1 bar. A7. 1 bar. E7. 1 bar, turn around on B7, and that's a 12-bar sequence. Okay, so improvisation basically means making things up as you go along, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing with the scales that I've just demonstrated there. It's creating nice little licks and solos from those scales, But to begin with, just to make things easier and just to show you how the scales work, all I'm going to do is run up and down the scale just to demonstrate how those notes work and how the scale works as a whole. And you hear that all the notes work in conjunction with each other. They all work nicely together. It's how you form those phrases that becomes a skill in improvising. And all that really is experimentation and experience as you go along. Now, the crucial notes to remember from these scales are the root notes, the E notes within that scale. So when you finish your phrases, it's a good beginning to finish your phrases on the root notes. So root notes in the first scale, the open E there, and the first octave there. This is second fret, fourth string, and then at the top string there, the open top string. That's another E note, and then at the 12th fret, the parent scale there. Root note on the 6th string there, starting note, and then the octave there, 14th fret, and then once again at the top string there on the 12th fret. They're all the notes that you need to pause or finish your phrases on to make the licks and the phrases sound okay. Okay, I'm going to put the backing track on, and then we're just going to run up and down the scale just to demonstrate how it works. Okay, and then up at the 12th fret. And then from there you can branch out. Don't forget your string bends. It's a nice bend on the 3rd string there. 2nd string bend. Well, there we have it. Thanks for joining me once again. I really hope you get on well with that. As I said in the tutorial, it can be the most fun that you can have on guitar, creating your own riffs, solos, and whatnot. It can be the most frustrating sometimes if it doesn't quite click, which you'll have days like that. But it is great fun, and there's an infinite number of possibilities there. So give it a go. Don't forget, subscribe if you haven't done already for weekly tutorials. Follow us on all the social media. And thanks for joining me once again, and I look forward to seeing you next week.